Hello class, this is your teacher Mr. McDougall with your next Photoshop tutorial. This is going to be our first project in Photoshop. Up until now we've been doing classwork, which involves me giving you exercise files. When it comes to a project, you will be getting your own exercise files, either taking them yourself or online. So for this project we are going to create our own Instagram promo. So we're going to create a promo for an event we have coming up. Just like we did in the previous lesson for Artboard, we're going to create a square post and a story post to go together. You can see from this example, same thing. So you're going to create a post for an event. So the first thing you need to do is that you're going to create a theme. So imagine that you are part of some kind of team. So you're like on a sports team or a band, or maybe you've started your own business. You are in charge of this organization and the social media, and you have an event coming up. So if you're on a sports team, maybe you got a big game or tournament coming up. If you're in a band, maybe you have a concert. If you start your own business, maybe you have a grand opening, something like that. So use your imagination. It could be a fantasy team or a fantasy band or whatever it is. Just imagine that you're part of it and you're in charge of creating the promo. So think of a team or a group and imagine you have an event coming up at the end of the week and you need to create a post for it. So we're going to do what we did in the Artboards previous lesson and create a post. So first, let's create our new post. Let's go to Photoshop and we're going to create a new file just like we did last time. So this one's going to start as a square again. So make sure this is on pixels and that it's set to 1080 by 1080 pixels, and we're going to call it IG Promo. Make sure that the Artboards button is checked. If you don't check the Artboards button and you hit create, go close that and come back to this to make sure this is checked so we can edit multiple files at the same time. We need to edit the square post and the story post at the same time. So with that being checked, let's hit create. And now we have our blank square. Let's rename this one to our 1080 by 1080 just like we did before. 1080 x 1080. Perfect. So now that we've renamed it, we can start editing it. If you're on the Artboard tool, which is this one right here, if you're on the Artboard tool, you'll notice that your artboard looks like this. An easy way to duplicate the artboard is to just click this plus button and it will make another one. Just like that. This one we can change, which we're going to change to make sure it's the vertical one for the story. So let me zoom out a little bit. Perfect. So now on this one, we need to change the specs. So if I come here, I can click on, I want the width to be 1080, but the height needs to be 1920. Perfect. So now it's this long one, and let's rename it right here as well, just like we did before. Double click on this. This one is 1080 x 1920, and it changes the name right here. So I know this is my square post and this is my story post. I can click and move it so they're next to each other. And now we need to start editing both of them. So just like we did before in the artboard examples, we edit so they both look exactly the same is the goal. So next you're going to find your image that you want to use to bring in to here. So as I mentioned, imagine that you're part of a team or an organization or a band or something. So you can use a picture that you already have, or you can find one online. So if you want to search, you can Google search a tab for one. Let's say you're going to start a barbershop. Maybe you're opening your own business, or a salon or something like that. And you just want a stock photo to use. So just like we did in our previous lessons to find stuff, we can pick images to download. Maybe I want to use this one as my base. Make sure the pixel resolution is good. It needs to be close to 1080 and 1080 because that's what we set our square at. So this is pretty close. I could probably find something better. This one looks a lot better. I think I might go with this one. So pick one that works that will be an appropriate size that you can use as your photo. Or if you have one on your own, if you took your own photo, that would also work. I took these photos for these events. This one is for a End Alzheimer's fundraiser walk, so I can use that one. This one I took for the Azusa High School homecoming game, so I can use either one of those. Let's go with this one. Let's bring it in. No, not right there, over here. And let's just drop it right in somewhere. If this happens, that's okay. Remember that you just need to move it into the correct artboard. So I'll just take this and move it right here. and now it's in right there. If your image is too big, remember to change it to a smart object. Change it to a smart object anyway so you can adjust all of them at the same time. Convert to smart object. And then let's start adjusting it to fit. Perfect. Fit it however you like. It depends on your photo. You need to fit it within the square. Whatever photo you go with that. So make sure it's a smart object first, and then you can duplicate it. Command J to duplicate it and put it in the other one too. So now I have it right here. And let's adjust it so it's in both. Perfect. So get your base image for your post, and then you're going to start adding the other elements that are listed on here. So the thing I want you to add after you've done that, practice the techniques we've been practicing. Add a gradient overlay to the image with at least 2 colors. We went over that in the artboard one. Remember, on the image, double click on here to edit the smart object, so you'll edit all of them together. If I double click on that, it will jump into here, and now I can edit this, which will edit both images at the same time. So on here, I can add a gradient. So gradient overlay, we talked about that last time. You can change the colors to whatever you'd like. Change these colors around. Again, all of this, I'm going over this a little faster because I already covered it in the previous lesson. So if you don't remember, go back and watch that one. And change the blending mode to see how it interacts with the image itself. However you want to do it. Pick one that works best for you. You want it to look cool. Perfect. And now you won't see any changes just yet until I save this file right here. So on this file, if I hold Command S to save, I can come back and I can see that both images have been edited right here. So that's why we do the smart object, so we can edit faster. Remember, our CEO of our company wants this post out ASAP for our event, so we need to make sure that we edit both of these quickly and efficiently. The other things you need to add are 2 or more different kinds of shapes, and in that 2 or more different kinds of text to go with it. So you can see from my examples here, this one I did different kinds of shapes. I did this cool star shape and this rectangle shape so I can fit the text. Same thing with this one with the original. I did multiple kinds of text. I did a little paragraph text. I did a text within this circle, and right here, at least 2 kinds of shapes and 2 kinds of text with different information. You want a big title text that says what's going on, the End Alzheimer's Walk, or the homecoming football game, Azusa homecoming football game, and you want a smaller paragraph text that gives an explanation about details. When and where is the game and what is it? What's the event that's going on? So it says Friday, October 19th. So come out Saturday, October 20th. Come out here to this location. The audience, your viewers, they need to know all the information to attend the event and get excited about it. The last thing you need to add after you've done all that is 3 or more different kinds of effects on the shape and the text. So remember the different kind of effects we talked about. Gradient was one of them, but there's other ones right here like the stroke. You can see the stroke border. I have this bevel and emboss right here, making the sphere look 3D. A drop shadow, you can see there's a drop shadow right here to add to it. So just mess around with different things, adding to make your text and graphics really pop and stand out. Okay, so remember, you're telling a story, you want people to get excited. So you're creating these 2 images to go together. Once you have finished, make sure you're working on it as much as you can. Remember, at the end of the day, if you're not done, make sure you save this project file and save it so it will save to your folder. Save it as a PSD file to your promo folder so you can save it and continue working on it. So if I have to close it and come back to it, I can continue working on it. And then just hit Command S to continue saving it as you go. Once you're all done, you need to export both of them. So you turn in both the square and the vertical post. So when you're all done with everything, completed every single step, you will go to File and Export as, make sure it's set to JPEG, and it will export both of the files together. Whenever you have a project, you are not going to take a screenshot. Projects are always going to be exported files like this. Okay, so then click Export, and you just need to tell it where to export. So I'm going to tell it to export into my promo with the others. So now it's saving it into that exact folder. So if I go to that folder, go to my drive, I can find them there. There they are right there. Here's my square, and here's my vertical one. These two files are what you are turning in to the assignment. So take both of your exported files and attach them right here where it says add or create a file. Remember, you are not doing a screenshot. So make sure you read all the instructions, do everything I just said, and you'll be just fine. I'm super excited to see your story, whatever team you are excited about. Have fun creating it, and let me know if you have any questions.